Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Hookah Anonymous, and you are now rocking with Mickey Truth. She live up to her name, not the fame. So make sure y'all subscribe to her channel and stay updated on what's real. Bye.
Coming from where I come from, they doubted me, but I came up. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world. Coming from where I come from, they doubted me, but I came up. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world. I made it through the storm, trying to conquer the world.
Good reporting ass Mickey.
We love you, Mickey.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Mickey Truth, aka the Queen of Paperwork, and I am back with another video. As always, all information contained in this video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. All information used in this video is per the Fair Use Act, and any conclusion that you draw is on you, not me, so let's get it. And y'all already know I've been telling y'all I'm going to get into the Glokknine paperwork. Did he snitch or didn't he snitch? That's what we going to figure out. So without further ado, let's get to the work. Glokknine, aka Jaquavius Smith, and I hope I said his name right, okay? He was indicted, okay, on federal charges. Federal. So this ain't no state case. He in the feds, okay, in 2021. And of course, they're always, most times when you have a big nickname, they're definitely gonna, put your nickname on your paperwork. Now, prior to being indicted by the feds, Glokknine was charged with and convicted of burglary of a structure while masked, criminal mischief while masked, grand theft, and possession of burglary tools. Whoo! So shot it. Okay, definitely been about that life. Okay, allegedly. Now, count one of the federal indictment, okay, stated that he was in possession of a firearm and 52 rounds of ammunition. Well, goddamn. Okay. Now, so this is a semi-automatic rifle that they're alleging he had. Count two is also a Glock 22 40 caliber pistol. Okay. With 18 rounds of ammunition. This is the original indictment. So Glokknine had a Glock 22. Now, count three, excuse me, y'all. Count three is again having a barrel of less than 16 inches in length. Shit. Okay. Of another firearm which was not registered. Yo. I mean, with a nickname like Glokknine, I mean, are we surprised? Now, as always, y'all already know they had evidence from social media. Okay. And at first, when I looked at this, I'm like, well, what are we looking at? Well, you see the gold and black pistol on his hand, and he's just chilling with a blunt. I don't know. Is we legal in Florida? I don't know. But nevertheless, everything they took off of IG. Now, the picture on your left is actually from his car that was impounded, not from IG. And if you're paying attention, that's the alleged gang that he's a part of. And I'm still going to say alleged, although he pretty much said himself what it was. But nevertheless. All right. So his defense, right, really tried to help him out by saying, hey, that was the old him. Okay. He's now a signed artist. For those who don't know, he signed to Cash Money. He's doing great with streams. Like he's out the street life. Okay. He's doing good thing. I'm like, hey, give him a chance. He ain't, even though his name's Glokknine, he ain't toting Glokknines no more, right? Well, unfortunately, it got him but so far, okay? Because he did have to end up taking a plea, which is, not uncommon. He did have to accept certain responsibility for his charges. So I did this. I made sure I put in what did he have to accept. Because some people be like, you have to tell, whatever. So let's see. Did he have to tell? Now, he's the only person on this particular indictment. Now, count one, he had to accept responsibility that did you possess a firearm? Was the firearm registered to you in the National Firearms Registration and Transfer Record? Did you know specific characteristics or features of the firearm that made it subject to registration, blah, blah, blah. Like, who are you going to tell them? That's about the gun, right? Count two, it said, did you knowingly transfer, possess, or use another person's means of identification? Did you do so without lawful authority? Did you do so during and in relation to a felony violation? So basically, he used somebody's identity. It goes in more detail in the paperwork, but yeah, that's basically what happened with that one. Count 3, did you knowingly, same thing. Okay, before possession is firm, have you been convicted of a felony? Did you know you have been convicted on a felony? Did you commit the offense while on release from another case, basically, right? So he had to agree to all this, accept all responsibility for that. I mean, in my opinion, they're not asking him about nobody. Okay, so that is his acceptance of responsibility. I mean, we just gonna have to call it what it is. It's pretty much him accepting what he done, like standing on business. Now, this is his story. Okay, this is his handwritten letter to the judge, because of course he was facing a lot of time. I'm not even gonna cap for the charges he did have, and it says, "Dear Your Honorable Judge Byron, I would like to start by saying I'm 100% remorseful for the reason we're all gathering, as in you, my lawyers." What is that, lawyers? Somebody, Don and Mr. Bigney, my family and loved one. So you can determine my punishment that I, Jaquavius Smith, accepts full responsibility for my actions. I am writing this letter to rectify you on my story and character, as in why I am here standing before you today. Your Honor, I come from Section 8 apartments on Merchant Drive, known today as Windsor Love. My mother has 4 boys, and we stayed here from when I was a toddler until I was 9 years old. I grew up misunderstood as a child. Times I used to think I wasn't loved. I still feel that way today as I'm standing before you. My father was never in my life growing up. Sometimes I question why I was not good enough for my father to be there for me. Times when he wasn't in prison, he would call to play with my mind, ask me what I wanted for Christmas. And when Christmas came, my father was nowhere to be found. As a kid, watching my other brothers' fathers drop off gifts while I wait for mom and dad to never show up hurt me in ways I could never explain. It just built up in anger, and I started doing careless things. But my mother did her best with me. I just got tired of my mother feeling like she needed a boyfriend to depend on. I used to watch her cry when she couldn't make rent. I got tired of watching my mother ask my grandma for assistance to help her with bills. So I started doing things to get my own money. At first, I used to go around the apartments knocking on doors to take out trash, or I used to use my uncle lawnmower to cut people grass. But the more I tried to make legal money, people would deny my services or tell me they had a child of their own to do these things. I tried getting a job, but between school and uh, when my something at work, I had no, oh, when my mom's, I guess, was at work, I had no transportation. And plus, if I could have gotten a job, I would have stopped my mother's government benefits. I got tired of wearing the same clothes to school while everybody else had new clothes and shoes. My mother had 3 other kids in our house, okay, where something, then my oldest brother was back and forth living with our mother and his father, so I didn't really have no one to look up to. So around like my 8th grade year, I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. I started making my mother was still living check to check, so blank started trying to get money the fast way, and I ended up eating, I ended up getting direct filed or charged as an adult. I think that's what that says. Okay. I mean, it's small writing. Yeah, my bad. Okay. My lawyer. So I sat for 8 months and signed a plea deal for 11 months and 29 days with game time. All I had was 2 months left. But before I got out, I wrote my mother a letter. My exact words were, "When I come home, I'm taking music serious. I feel like I can be a global rapper." When I got out, I did just that. It took me 7 months after, and I signed a deal. But the time I signed, I was 18 with $2 million. My mother was staying on Silver Star still in like 3 months after I signed. My mother house had got shot up. It's like when I started getting noticed, I started receiving hatred. So I told her to find a house in Ocean Sony. I'm not sure what that is. OCOEE, something like that. But anyway, but she said the situation traumatized her, so she wanted to leave Orlando, but she wasn't ready to leave my grandmother and grandfather behind. She stayed, so I kept coming back to visit. At this time, I was staying in Miami with my child's mother. I had my daughter at 19. I promised myself and my child's mother to do whatever I could that my father didn't do for me, to always provide and be there for my daughter when she needs her father to talk to or cry to. I feel like I was being selfish by breaking the law, even though I've been shot at numerous of times. Even at Millennial Mall in broad daylight, a detective even stopped by my mother's house and told her to call me because I was in Miami, and told both of us I have a large amount of money on my head. That's why we are here today, because I knowingly broke the law, even though it was for my protection, because I would rather face my consequences rather than my family facing me in a casket. I know if I was able to walk away from this today, I would get security and move far away. Your Honor, I would like y'all to judge me as Jacavius Smith, not as my stage name Glokknine. I would like to say thank you for taking consideration and time out of your day to read my story. Sincerely, Jacavius Smith. And you know what, y'all? I'm going to be honest with y'all. I can relate to so much that he said, because growing up, when you have an issue with parents or the lack thereof, bound like that connection because of their absence. Like, I've been honest with y'all, like my parents was in and out of jail, so I do feel that I went through my reckless years too as a teenager. So it's heartfelt to hear him express himself like that. But at the same time, I will have to be honest, because even I myself had to realize you only make your own situation, worse. But I appreciate that he shared his story in that way, as honest as possible. Now, this is my thing with this. Glokknine has two plea agreements. One plea agreement is on the left, and the other one is on the right, which it says amended plea agreement. Okay, so that's what it says. One says plea agreement, the second one says amended plea agreement. Now, do you know what's the difference between the two plea agreements? Well, the first one that's on the left that says plea agreement has a cooperation, substantial assistance to be considered, right? The amended plea agreement has, guess what? That crossed out. And I said, what the hell? I ain't never seen none of that. I done looked at a lot of federal cases, and I've never seen that. And me being who I am, I had to get to the bottom of it. That's why it took me a minute to drop this video, right? Because I can't just put out anything. Unlike some people would have just went with the first plea agreement. However, I had to say, yo, why? Like, why is this? What is going on? Well, y'all know I love me some transcripts, because if you do not know, I will tell you, you sign a plea agreement first, then you have to go to court and basically have a plea hearing. At the hearing, they go over your plea agreement. So in the transcripts of his plea hearing, it says that the prosecutor said, well, I can state on the record that there has been no corroboration up to this point, and that I did have this discussion with the defense counsel. There's no intent to corroborate in the future. We see this paragraph as just notification of what the corroboration rights are, Your Honor. The judge said, I understand, but I also understand that there might be concerns from the defense perspective about having the language in there at all. So, Mr. Arkhart, how would you like to proceed on that? And that's Glokknine's attorney. He says, if the court will allow us just to strike that language in pen and ink at this point and then refile, and I apologize to the AUSA Gardelia. This is something that has evolved over the last day or so. So I think that would be the best for my client, that language be stricken. The judge said, all right, so why don't you go ahead and mark through it, and then both of the attorneys can initial it and Mr. Smith can initial it. Pause in proceedings. Then it says, all right, so that's been amended. The lawyer said, yes, sir. This is the original. Yes, sir. The court said, so just when you get back to your office, file that as an amended plea agreement. We'll proceed otherwise as normal. All right. So the substantial assistance provision has now been stricken. So again, that was their quote unquote by the language. I'm going to tell y'all this. In my opinion, the government knew that's some foolery to put in there. That could have been real bad, because I'm not gonna get too far ahead of myself. But anyway, it is stricken. He doesn't have a cooperation agreement. Now, to be continued. Why do you think I said to be continued? Well, Glokknine has filed a nature of suit, which is to vacate the sentence. He was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison. So that was filed on August 15, 2023. No additional paperwork has been provided. And not only is this to be continued, but wait. Jacavius Smith. I'm like, I've seen this name somewhere before, right? And I see it under a state's discovery for witnesses, right? And you know why? Because it's a part of the Hotboy Rico. And as I will go into when I do Hotboy paperwork, this is a part from one of the hearings. And it says one of the instances off the top of my head I can specifically remember is the gang group chat that's titled as such. And him mentioning, even one of the fellow gang members mentioning that Hot is the one who makes the call, that they'll spend on whoever at the time. Most of it was implied to Glokknine in a group chat. Jacavius Smith. Ooh, the plot thickens. Like I said, Hotboy Part 1 is dropping soon, and we'll get to the business. So until then, hey, the plot thickens. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, tell a friend to pull up on your girl Mickey Truth, and definitely go over to MickeyTruth.com and get you that merch, because you know your girl stay with that work. Holla!
Remember me wearing a frown. Now it's the other way around. They mad cause I made it out.
I took the hard way. I ain't asking a nigga for nothing. I threw the hard way. Hard way. Hard way, my heart to this day. I'm really with it, my feelings in it, so please, bitch, don't play. I took the hard way. I ain't asking a nigga for nothing. I threw the hard way. Hard way. Hard way, my heart to this day. I'm really with it, my feelings in it, so please, bitch, don't play. Don't play.